Razzle Dazzle. It's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary Cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye, VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry New Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Goms.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype Flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Here we are. We're doing the show. We're hoping things don't crash. We're just praying to the good Lord above that we can do the show today, and here we are. Let's see. I sent out the text message for those who receive text messages from me. If you don't receive those text messages, you can sign up to our text message alert system by texting the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's Canary to 877-740-3226. You'll receive a text before every show just to let you know what's going on and, make sure you have access and you are notified. You can also text us back at that number. We do receive texts. We cannot carry on a conversation because it's extremely expensive for us, but we do appreciate it. Somebody said, let's see, this was, last episode, last text message. Somebody says, thanks for the alert. CCNT is the best podcast in the world and perhaps the universe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that text person. Somebody says, hello. Oh, from Sir Tristan. Not sure if I'm still streaking or not. You know how time travel can be. I do know how time travel can be. I am almost certain that you are continuing to streak. We might need to track down your current streak number. I'll see if I can do that before the break today. Let's see. Somebody says, thanks, Basil. The show is on just in time. Time spelled like the herb for my afternoon break. Happy Monday and God bless you and Gons. Thank you very much, dear text message senders. That could be you, folks. Just text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. Also highly recommend that you get on our newsletter. You can do that by going to canarycry.party. Canarycry.party. There's a bunch of links. You'll see all the important stuff there. And yes, especially if you're a YouTube viewer, it is a certainty that one of these days we will get our third strike on the YouTube channel and we will disappear from your lives entirely. So make sure that you're hooked in to the community in other ways. So you make sure not to, lose us forever. That would be very sad. And it's happened to hundreds of thousands of people, literally hundreds of thousands of people. Are now in the dark as far as this show is concerned. What else is there? Oh, just an update for canarycry.tube. Canarycry.tube, that's right, we're taking back our streaming sovereignty. We got some notes. We'll play some messages about people who are asking if support for canarycry.tube has to go through PayPal. Previously, yes. If you go to canarycray.tube, it is actually a PayPal-based page. But now, if you go to the classic canarycry.support, you will see a big box there at the top with your canarycry.tube options. So don't worry, PayPal haters. You can also get involved to help support the streaming sovereignty of this show. We highly recommend you do that. All right, let's get this show on the road, baby. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 6th. 2024. We are live to tape on episode 721. And today, Lady Leader Letdown. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's immersion phenomena. Whoa, man.
Nice. What did Adam say to God when Eve... Remember that joke?
No, I didn't grow up in church.
Really? I always
forget
forget that. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I should have done a much better job. But yes, it's a classic pastor joke. You know,
Okay.
What did Adam say when God created Eve? Whoa, man.
Oh,
And then
okay.
that's
All right,
when,
so it's been thought
'cause-
of before. Nothing new under the sun. I thought I was being
Yes,
clever
you
over
know,
here, but apparently this
Adam
is
was
a
helping name everything, you know. so he-
well-trodden path of
Yeah.
Bible
It's good.
jokes.
You got that. No, well, we all know that like dad instincts and pastor instincts are very closely related.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
you know, you got there through your dad path.
Yeah.
But you're, you know, you get it.
I
Hey,
found
everybody.
pastors there. Yeah, it's just
You
a
did.
well-worn path, yeah.
I want to say this here on this side of the pre-show. We had some messages. We will play some messages, some issues with people not wanting to use PayPal to support canarycry.tube. Officially, there has been an option added at canarycry.support. You'll see a big option blue box to support canarycry.tube with your whatever, not PayPal, with your cards or whatever. So just want everybody to know that's there. We had gotten some messages about that. Go to canarycry.support, scroll down just a tiny bit, and you'll see a big blue box where you can support canarycry.tube.
All right.
All right. Well, let's hit that disclaimer and get this show on the road, Gons.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
That's right. Let me give you a rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
We're starting out some of the leading ladies in what has been going on in the New World Order, whatever you want to call it. We've got some leading ladies stepping down. Unbelievable. Taking everybody by surprise. Not only did Nikki Haley finally call it quits for reasons that are beyond comprehension, but Victoria Nuland, the maybe the most iconic, after Hillary Clinton, the most iconic female, elite lizard person who is responsible for death and unfortunate events across the world, Victoria Nuland, announces that she is also stepping down. We'll be taking a look at both of these ladies and what they might be thinking. Then we're checking in on a space flippy that didn't quite make it off the ground. And then the rumblings all over the internet, Ryan Garcia and his disclosure of some of his experiences at, the place. The place. What's the place called, guys?
Bohemian Grove.
That's it. That one. They're making waves and arising suspicions across the thinking world. And then a German patient was vaccinated 217 times, folks. So don't worry. Keep getting your vaccines. Ignore all the scientific studies. This guy's fine. And why 217? Hopefully we can discover the truth. And then at the end of the show, who owns Antarctica? But first, Gons, our lead stories.
Okay. We're talking Ukraine.
Fight for Ukraine. Ukraine. New world order.
Women rule.
Women rule. Okay. We're. Can you hear me? Did I lose you? What's going on?
No,
okay.
I'm here.
All right.
I'm not seeing anything on the screen, and you're the one who does the leading stories.
Okay. All right.
So I was making room for you.
Okay,
Unless you want me to
appreciate
get excited about Victoria Nuland,
I
I will.
thought you were more excited about it than I was. I mean, I
am.
You are.
Victoria Nuland.
War lady stepping down. Is that why are you celebrating today?
It's incredible. It's incredible. Victoria Nuland, for those who have been, really paying attention to world events for 10 years or more. I mean, Victoria Nuland 10 years ago was passing out cookies on the streets of Ukraine after this. She was the source. She was the godmother of the coup that happened in Ukraine, which put Zelensky at the top of the pyramid over there. She literally passing out cookies after the changing of hands of government in the Ukraine. And of course, she has been hard at work ever since and has been really, I mean, it's very interesting because if you just watch the mainstream news, if you just kind of are getting your surface level current events from Facebook or X or whatever, and you're just kind of reading headlines, the impact of Victoria Nuland stepping down would almost certainly be lost on somebody who isn't spending the time to sort of dig in. But she is the source of so much pain in this world. And she's a mastermind. She's an absolute killer. And it's being reported today in several places. I'm going to take this link from Ukraine Pravda. Ukraine Pravda, which is the CIA-run state media in Ukraine. So this is good. They've got Victoria Nuland's got this very kind of benign grandmother look to her. And the picture they've got here, nice round face, some big eyes, some not very sort of striking features that,
big blue eyes.
Like Hillary Clinton, her face is just a little striking and kind of scary.
Basil.
Victoria Nuland is very matriarchal, matriarchal feel.
There is the side-by-side image of young Victoria Nuland versus now Victoria Nuland, and people were saying this is what war does to you.
Oh, yeah, no, young Victoria Nuland was a total smoke show, for sure. And yes, but years and years of death and destruction and subterfuge. Wielding
the powers of war.
No amount of adrenochrome could protect even the loveliest of ladies from the effects of that kind of life. But it says here, U.S. Undersecretary of State Nuland resigns from Department of State. Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State, has said that Victoria Nuland, under Secretary of State for Political Affairs, plans to leave the Department of State in coming weeks. Blinken's statement, released by the Department of State, says, quote here, quote, Victoria Nuland has let me know that she intends to step down in the coming weeks as Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs, a role in which she has personified President Biden's commitment to put diplomacy back at the center of our foreign policy and revitalize America's global leadership at a crucial time for our nation and the world.
It's like a whole different world they're looking at.
Big deal, big deal. And don't be mistaken, Ukraine is not her only handiwork. There is a joke on, for those who are on the sort of in the know about Victoria Nuland, which is if Victoria Nuland shows up in your country, start getting ready for war. There's going to be a civil war. Yeah, there's going to be some sort of coup, because you can almost track perfectly her like airplane tickets around the world with impending civil wars and regime changes and things like that. That is her job.
Leading
her job
indicator
is
for war.
That's right. She is the person who shows up, talks to people on the ground, coordinates the diplomacy of the destruction of a country. It's very wrapped up in sort of the economic hitman system as well. She's truly one of the most dangerous gangsters in the world, and which is why it's so sad to see her go. Blinken added that Nuland's resignation brings to an end 3.5 decades of, quote, remarkable public service under 6 presidents and 10 secretaries of state. So that kind of gives you an idea of how long she's been doing this. Over 30 years, almost 40 years of just kind of gallivanting around, being, I don't know what you would call, maybe the hand of the American empire, maybe she's not quite the sword, but maybe she's like the hilt of the sword of the American empire.
I was going to say, the handle or something.
Mm-hmm. He noted that it is Nuland's leadership in the matters about Ukraine that diplomats and students of foreign policy will be studying for many years to come. That is absolutely true. Now, AP also reported on this event here. It was a little bit still glowing, but slightly less glowing. Let me go down here. I'm going about 3/4 of the way down to some of the quotes about Victoria Nuland. Here's one quote. But it's Toria's leadership. Toria is what you call her if you're her friend. Her friends call her Toria. But it's Toria's leadership on Ukraine that diplomats and students of foreign policy will study for years to come. Her efforts have been indispensable in confronting Putin's full-scale invasion. There's that full-scale word again, which they just recently started using. Marshalling a global coalition to ensure his strategic failure. Doing a great job. And helping Ukraine work toward the day when it will be able to stand strongly on its own feet, democratically, economically, and militarily. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. It's probably a good time for Victoria Nuland to step down before that failure could be blamed on her. The Russian Foreign Ministry immediately seized on the announcement, calling it an admission of failed U.S. policy towards Russia. Well, that's certainly the instinct that I had, but I would never
Well, you're
agree.
just Russian propaganda,
I
Basil.
would
You're
never
just,
claim
Putin.
to agree with Putin. Quote, they won't tell you the reason, spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said, quote, but it's simple. The failure of the anti-Russian course of the Biden administration, Russophobia proposed by Victoria Nuland as the main foreign policy concept of the United States, is dragging the Democrats to the bottom like a stone. Whoa.
Wow.
Then they talk about her replacement here. Nuland will be replaced temporarily as undersecretary by another career diplomat, John Bass, a former ambassador to Afghanistan who oversaw the U.S. withdrawal from the country. He's currently the undersecretary.
He's the withdrawal guy. He's the pullout guy. Got to get the pullout guy in there.
Exactly. Not just the guy who oversaw the failed wars in the Middle East, but the guy who oversaw the withdrawal, which signals maybe something in the plan
look
for
out.
Ukraine. Yeah, it's not looking good.
That's a really bad sign for can you imagine the anger towards America that could develop in that region? If America and NATO just got up and left, and they're like, okay, well, guess we're done.
Well, they're not going to necessarily leave. BlackRock still has all the contracts to
know.
rebuild,
I know.
so...
Well, yeah, that's how it's the next phase, I suppose, of the infiltration.
Right. It's time for the American corporations to take over and do their job there. And, this comes on the heels of mainstream reports about 50% of the $75 billion that's been provided to Ukraine so far disappearing, being unaccounted for, in action, being taken on that. So, again, another good moment, for whoever would be in charge of that to kind of slip into the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to miss you, Victoria Nuland. You've been just an incredible sort of figurehead of the destruction that can be wrought on the world by belligerent American foreign policy. And we hope you have... I don't think she's going to retire. I think we're going to see her pop up in the private sector somewhere, probably still involved in, I don't know, maybe on the board of BlackRock or something, because it's time for her to get paid back. Is the thing. It's time for her.
She needs to get her payment.
She facilitated this entire Ukraine thing. It took her, 15 years to finish the job. And now it's time for her to get put on a board and benefit from all the contracts to rebuild. So I think if she pops up, somewhere connected to BlackRock or Vanguard or any one of the sort of evil corporations, that's her payment. So toodaloo, Victoria Nuland, and I'm looking forward to see John Bass botch the pullout of Ukraine just like he did in Afghanistan. It's going to be more excitement for 2024.
Yeah, I wonder who gets the weapons. It's a big lottery. Who gets all the weapons? I guess they're already spreading them
Half
out,
of them have already been sent to Africa.
They already did the distribution of the weapons. So I suppose it's just a formality at this point.
Well, I believe Victoria Nuland late last year, I could be mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I believe late last year she took a trip to somewhere in Africa when a civil war popped up there, which of course, that's what happens.
I think we talked about that, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I forget what country too, but it was...
Yeah, it was one of the sort of more obscure ones, the ones that did not bend the knee to the sort of Nigerian CBDC regime or whatever. But she took a little visit there, and then boom, civil war breaks out. Weapons start disappearing from Ukraine, popping up in Africa. Whoopsie daisies.
Yeah. I think she should get into MMA. There's a place for post-politician MMA. Someone needs to just start that league.
I mean,
she can get in
the billionaires are already doing it. You've got the Mark Zuckerberg Elon fight coming up. We should do the Victoria Nuland Zelensky fight or something.
Zelensky or Putin?
Maybe, or maybe what's his name? I forget his name. Some funny Russian guy. Now, there's more news here. Speaking of leading ladies, this is coming from CBSNews.com. Headline, Nikki Haley drops out of GOP presidential race and says Trump has to earn support.
Why is
she actually did it, Guns?
Yeah.
She actually pulled it off.
Yep. It says here, former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley suspended her 2024 presidential campaign on Wednesday, clearing the path for former President Donald Trump to win the Republican nomination. So, yeah, great. It's there's a quote. It's now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party. Huh? Oh, go ahead.
The lag has begun. I'm going to take my anti-lag evasive maneuvers here.
Okay, let me just read through some of this article as well. Two sources close to Haley says she's eager to remain part of the GOP conversation, is proud of being the latest contender standing against Trump, and is not ruling out anything moving forward. Yeah. Trump's reaction. Trump posted on social media that Haley got trounced and pointed to Vermont's open primary for her victory there. At this point, I hope she stays in the race and fights it out until the end, Trump wrote. Super Tuesday disappointment. The news comes just hours after Trump won commanding victories across nearly all the states holding Republican nominating contests on Super Tuesday, according to CBS News projections. Yeah, okay, we don't have to get into all the details here.
No, it didn't work.
This is
Super Tuesday. Super Tuesday happened. Trump swept the field. There was a moment this week where she won by 600 votes. Now, you got to really look into it, because the headlines of, Democratic, capital D Democratic journalists will tell you she trounced Trump. She won 60% of the vote in Washington, D.C. Whoa, what a huge loss for Trump. Then you look at the numbers, and there was like 2,000 votes total for all Republican voters. 2,000 people voted in the Republican Washington, D.C. Primary there, and she won. She did win, but she won 1,200 votes to like 600 votes or something like that.
Yeah, it's like all the people that are part of her, part of funding her campaign voted.
Yeah, it was Democrats. There's no Republicans in Washington, D.C. We know this.
Yeah.
But yeah, she finally stepped down. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of starting to enjoy her sort of, I don't know, masochistic desire to like stay in the race, and part of me thought maybe she was in cahoots with Trump, because like he kind of needed a foil, somebody to be against
to step
him.
on to springboard himself even higher. Yeah, I don't know. I think the money dried up and the opportunities dried up, and at this point they will, if she went any further, they'd be really close to start losing money. So I think
she definitely took a lot of money from Democrats,
she
which
did. She did. I say Titus Frost was the beginning of the end for Nikki Haley.
Yeah. I think so too. Well, there you go. The leading ladies dropping out, everybody. So I don't know. We're in a new phase. First of all, I fear for Ukraine, and with Nikki Haley dropping out, I fear for nothing. But it is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Cry News Talk. Yeehaw!
Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dude.
Really?
That one.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, Gons, where this week is kind of flying by. You've been hard at work on Age of Deceit 4.
Yeah, it's been quite the ride. And actually, I'm going to share parts of the film on Friday, and I'm looking forward to the feedback, especially from those people, the focus group who will get in. Hopefully by then, I don't know, Basil, we haven't really talked with all the stuff, but hopefully, pretty soon after this weekend, you guys can hop in and start giving me some feedback. And actually, it was interesting because as I'm recording it, I'm like, oh, there's a couple mistakes here and there. So we'll see if you guys catch it.
Yeah.
But looking forward to that.
Well, it's less about mistakes and more about sort of high level development.
Right.
Of
Yeah. I mean, welcoming all things, whether it's criticism or additional information or corrections on whatever. So yeah, it's I'm hanging myself out there, Basil, just sacrificing
I'm very proud of you.
my method, my process.
This is a big moment in your development. I'm very proud.
Yes. And you're stuck in some kind of green haze over there. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, well, I'm embarrassed because I don't have my green screen. I mean, people who are watching are just looking at my green screen, and it's embarrassing, and I'm sorry. I feel very vulnerable. I feel very
Both of
seen.
us, huh? We're just the year of revelation.
The reason why this is happening is because the streaming software that we transitioned over to, which has been so good to us for so long, suddenly out of nowhere is being like, hey, your version of your browser is causing it to crash if you have a green screen. I'm like, that's weird. I don't know. That's really weird and annoying. It's been working perfectly for months now, and suddenly out of nowhere. And so I updated my version of my browser and tried to fix the blah, 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 and it just doesn't work. And the second I turned on my background, it just starts getting all glitchy and horrible. The good news is that we kind of figured out what was going on. I don't know why Gons is allowed to have his. and I'm not allowed to have mine.
Hey.
But that's what we're dealing with. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. There's a few things that I want. I'll save some of this stuff for Monday. There's a whole tech stack that's being built right now that's in the news that I've been wanting to cover for about a week, but no time.
Tech stacks, bro.
3D processing, man. Wi-Fi,
Whoa.
3D processing. It's all happening. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, we'll talk about that next week.
And an update for actually. Why don't we play the Sentinel's message before we get into more stuff?
Yes. Hold on one second, because my finger is on a thing. Because I thought you were going to play that, but yeah, get rid of that. It's okay. All right, here we go. This is the message from the Sentinel, sending us a voicemail. Here we go.
What's up, Basil and Gons and Canary Cry family? It's the Sentinel. Basil, Gons, I have a question for you. So I was looking at Canary Cry Tube, and I noticed it's all through PayPal. So I was curious, if I set up a monthly recurring donation through like CanaryCry.support that wasn't through PayPal, I think you guys had that, would that still be able to go specifically to the streaming sovereignty? Because I guess my big concern is, what about when PayPal decides to say that they will no longer facilitate your financial needs, right? So I'm just curious about that. I'd like to hear you guys explain it a little bit. And I was curious, if I am going to come in monthly, should I come in monthly through Canary Cry Tube, or can I come in through CanaryCry.support and just do it in a normal way, I guess, with just my credit card? Maybe I'm just misunderstanding, but if you could just elaborate on that a little bit, that would be super helpful for me and maybe for one or two other people listening. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, the Sentinel. No, this is very, very helpful question. And, yes. So long and short of it is this. When we had to respond with CanaryCry.tube, it was strictly a PayPal-based site that is there. So so far, all Canary Cry Tube involvement has been done through PayPal. The reason that is because our other payment processor does not let us provide a choose your own price monthly subscription. It's somehow just like not built into their service. And so we just kind of went with the PayPal thing for now. But if you go to CanaryCry.support now, CanaryCry.support, our usual support link, you can see at the top of that page is a big bright blue box with some CanaryCry.tube options. Now, again, it's not choose your own, so I went into the pricing, of course, because we're supposed to be canceling our Netflix or our Disney or our YouTube or whatever. And so I just chose some of those options, whatever is sort of closest to your ability or desire to support. There's some options there. So you'll see the Netflix with ads price. That's $6.99 per month. So you can cancel your Netflix with ads and go ahead and sign up to support CanaryCry.tube. Take our streaming sovereignty back. It is mandatory that we do this. Again, eventually it'll be mandatory everybody do it. But once again, we're a little bit forced to be ahead of the curve, and we hope to figure out the best ways to do that and build that. So when every sort of truth-seeking podcaster is in the same situation that we are getting put in, we can kind of help people through that and tell them it's possible, and even emotionally empower them to make the switch instead of relying on YouTube or whatever.
Hey,
yeah,
I know you did this on the fly. But
I did.
I believe there is a typo in one of these.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, Gons. I did it in 3 minutes before the show.
I know.
There's typos, folks. If it causes you to have an issue, you can email Gons. You can email Gons about all the typos. He loves pointing out typos. He will absolutely love hearing about them. So you got your Netflix price there, $16.99. You've got your Disney Plus without ads price there, $13.99. You've got your YouTube Premium Family account there, $22.99. And if there's any other prices you guys want me to put on there, I can do that. It's just, unfortunately, we could not do the choose your own price thing. So hopefully that opens up an opportunity for people who have wanted to support canarycry.tube, but are either boycotting PayPal or don't have a PayPal or can't use PayPal or whatever. And the long and short of it is, any way that you can get value to us and you want to support canarycry.tube, do it, and then just send us an email and let us know that's what it's for, and we can, track everything on the back end. So anywho, There you go. There's an answer to that question. And over the past few days, we have gone up another percent. We are now 27% of the way towards our goal for the Canary Cry .tube future-proofing and Age of Deceit 4 focus group, which will be starting soon. So if you want to get in on the club of people who are going to have early access to bits of Age of Deceit 4, but not just to enjoy them, to actually put the years, maybe decades of truth-seeking research and everything to work for the Canarium, this is your opportunity to do so, and it is starting soon. I don't have an exact start date, but all the pieces are coming together. Gons is doing his job. I'm doing my job. We are getting very close. It could start as soon as Friday.
That's what I'm hoping.
We are currently investigating what the possibility of being able to start the focus group on Friday. But if it doesn't start on Friday, you will get a good look at what is going on Friday's episode, and then it will be starting as soon as possible after that. So stay connected, keep an eye on your email box, your text message list, everything. But hopefully, it would be really nice to get the canarycry.tube, what's the word? The goal, get to like 50% before we start the focus group, not just for financial reasons, but we also need like enough people getting in there and making it work. That's the kind of key with these focus groups. So there you go. canarycry.tube if you want to use PayPal, and canarycry.support if you would prefer not to. And with that, Gons, let's take a second and thank some of our executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. We are on the value for value model, which means you'll notice no advertising, no affiliate codes. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels whatsoever. There's no need for a corporate middleman to be deciding if we are creating enough value for you. It's value for value. So if you get any value out of the show, out of the community, out of anything we do, you have the opportunity, some even consider it a responsibility, to put value back in. And it's not just money. It's your talent, your time, your talent, or your treasure. Whatever way that you can bring value to this community is welcomed and considered value for value. So you can always go to canarycry.support to learn more. Yep. And executive producers are people who support any individual show with $100 or more. And we're so very grateful to them. And we got a couple executive producers today. Gons, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are starting out, of course, with executive producer Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Brain Protocol.
Where'd you find this?
Thank
Coming
you,
in,
Sir Alex Protocol V2.
$100 and 33 cents, of course.
Of course. Oops.
Illuminatus!
All right.
270 episodes in a row on a streak, but 68 episodes on an executive producer streak. Incredible.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Going to be on a 69 episode streak next episode.
He's
That's
doing it.
madness.
Yeah, somebody alert Elon.
Yeah, especially because he's born 69 days after 420. Did you know this?
I did not know that.
He boasted about
it. It seems prophetic in a way.
Yep.
Next up, well, thank you very much, executive producer Sir Alex Protocol VT. Next up, we've got executive producer Lily of the Valley.
Lily of the Valley, thank you very much.
Where'd you find this?
You might need to check, see if Lily of the Valley is a knight. I believe that Lily of the Valley might be a knight of the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, but it's been so long that I have forgotten. So if you want to check that. Lily of the Valley does come in for a nice round number, which means we will not disclose it on the show, but he did come in through canarycry.tube, helping us reach that goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And he has a note here that says, God bless you, Basil and Gons, Lily of the Valley. Well, thank you very much.
Was that Lilly?
I think it's one L. Lily.
Lilly. Yeah, still not popping up.
Okay. Well, I might be mistaken. So thank you very much, executive producer Lily of the Valley. Great to have you back on the list there.
Appreciate it.
Okay, that concludes our list of executive producers for today's show. Really appreciate you guys coming in to support the show. We have a medium list of not executive producers. I think we can zoom through it.
Let's do it.
Okay, as of the start of this show, these are the producers who have supported the show under the executive producer amount, which still makes them producers. We're starting out with Lady Night Little Wing on the list.
Hey, thank you, Lady Night Little Wing.
She's back on the list, yes, and Lady Night Little Wing comes in with a nice round number over at canarycry.tube with a note that says, let's do this, XO Lady Night Little Wing.
Let's do it.
Thank you. Next up, we got producer Mary H. coming in with a nice round number.
Mary H., thank you.
Next up, we got Leo. Leo coming in with 1111.
Leo 1111. Oh, I need to do. Whoa. Wrong one. There it is. I'm fat fingering the board.
Leo's on an 8-episode streak, almost on that 9. Little note here from Ellie says, love from England. Been pushing my non-Christian friends to listen in from tonight, so fingers crossed. I posted Age of Deceit on my Facebook. A few of them were interested in watching it. Hey, there we go.
Very cool.
Wonderful. Yeah, somebody actually sent us links to some other YouTube channel that had posted Age of Deceit. We might, I don't know what you want to do about that, but they are out there, guys.
Yeah, no, I encouraged people to just rip it, upload it onto their own channels. I mean, it's something that I did at the time.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm just surprised that one of them has survived, or maybe they're new uploads. You know,
and I think, there are some newer ones in the last few years. I ran into one that had like 60,000 views a couple days ago. So yeah, cool. Get some views, folks.
There you go.
Take our content and just share it.
View it up, bro.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Ellie. And if Elio's friends are listening, welcome to the show. We're glad you're here.
What's up?
Stick around.
Elio's friends.
Next up, we got Sir Tristan, Knight of the Garden, comes in for a pocket full of 7s.
Thank you, Sir Tristan.
And is on a streak. We are currently figuring out exactly what this streak is. Somehow the streak has been shielded from my eyes. If I had to guess, I'd say Tristan's streak is up maybe around 12. That's my...
Okay. Well, that it matters because of what type of jingle we want to give him. So
I know. That's my guess. So we'll do that now, and then I'll try to confirm it later.
All right. Well, he's walking on the sun.
Might as well be walking on the sun.
There we go.
Thank you very much, Sir Tristan.
Next up, we got producer Jan K comes in, signs up for a monthly producership at canarycry.tube.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan K. Next up, we got producer Fabian coming in. Yeah, with a monthly producership at canarycry.tube.
Hey, thank you very much. I should play this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Might have to make a shorter version for all of them, but because last and not least, Sir Ike, Knight of the Honking Cobra Chickens and other stuff, has joined for a monthly producership at canarycry.tube.
Wait, what? I thought Sir Ike. Oh, wait. We haven't. I thought that was a. Hold on, I'm confused now. You just confused me.
He's very confused. I don't know why he just doesn't trust me. He doesn't need to understand. He just needs to hit the buttons.
Okay.
He just needs to hit the buttons.
Hit the buttons.
Keep moving. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Ike.
We had some people who are coming in just like literally right now, and I want to thank them now because otherwise they'll have to wait till Monday.
Yeah.
We have producer Benjamin S.
Benjamin S., thank you.
Yeah, Benjamin S. coming in with a one-time producership over at canarycry.tube. Thank you very much, Benjamin.
Thank you.
And we have, what is this? We have somebody coming in. It's a new automatic payment profile. So somebody's coming in, interesting, not through canarycry.tube, but doing it anyways. Thank you very much to recurring producer Sorry K.
Sorry K, thank you.
Beautiful. Okay. That's our list of producers who come in in the amount of $7.77 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We've got a few streakers. We're going to run through them fast. So fast, it's incredible, and then we'll keep going. So, starting with Doctor Who Dundat, 67 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Doctor Who Dundat.
Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman, 27 in a row.
Thank you. Ooh, 27.
Sir Morph.
Oh, we're not going to give him the...
Oh, go.
Okay, here we go.
I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will.
Women rule!
Busted through that firmament.
There you go. Sir Morph, now to the Burning Chariots, 339 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Morph.
Veronica D, 371.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Dame Gale, 367.
Thank you, Dame Gale.
Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 396.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
408 episodes in a row.
Woo.
There we go. That concludes our list of financial producers for this episode. Thank you guys so much. And remember, as far as canarycry.tube goes, every single penny counts. And it's those monthly producerships that get you into the Age of Deceit focus group and build the foundation for the ongoing costs associated with streaming sovereignty. We are moving into a new age where we cannot put our freedom to stream at all into the hands of big tech. And luckily, thankfully, thank God, we are at a place technologically and economically in the world today where building our own streaming infrastructure for our streaming sovereignty is possible. It is an attainable goal. And if the whole Canarium agrees, we certainly will do that. And remember, if you don't want to use... If you don't want to use PayPal, you can go to canarycry.support for the tube options there.
All right. Sounds good. You ready for Flippy?
Ready.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's time for the Flippy Update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy Update is coming from BusinessInsider.com. Thanks, CIA. And the headline is NASA had an ambitious $2 billion plan to refuel satellites in orbit using robotic arms. A decade later, it's in shambles. Oh no, it's in shambles, Gons. Holy smokes, Business Insider has somehow upgraded their page to basically be some sort of volcanic eruption of advertisements when you open the page. That's horrible. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, is giving up its mission to refuel old satellites in orbit, putting an end to
Only losers give up, NASA.
They're giving up, putting an end to an ambitious $2 billion project plagued by delays and technical setbacks. The administration said on... Yeah, they're plagued. The administration said on Friday that it's discontinuing the effort after schedule challenges. The On-Orbit Servicing Assembly and Manufacturing 1 project, or OSAM-1, aimed to build a robotic arm that could pop-up satellites that weren't built for refueling, thereby extending their lifespan. Quote, need extra gas or tune-up for your satellite? Pitched official web page. Pitched official web page. So we've actually reported on OSAM-1 before. Says here, in development since 2015. It was supposed to launch in 2025, but it was delayed till 2026, and then they cut the cord. The OSAM-1 refueling technique seemed almost like brute force. A concept video of the robotic arm called the Space Infrastructure Dexterous Robot, or SPIDER, shows
Isn't that what we talked about?
We talked about Spider.
Yeah. Okay.
Shows it cutting open a fuel hatch, ripping restraints, and unscrewing a fuel cap, all while in space. Wow.
Sounds pretty awesome to me. I don't know why they're giving up. You want to infiltrate those Chinese satellites. You got to have a robot arm that can cut open that Chinese barrier.
So I think that's what our take was. One of the first times we talked about Spider was it really described it as a satellite destruction
sabotager.
Robot. Yeah. Had the ability to like pull open panels and cut things and rip things apart just to refuel these satellites. And so, of course, easily could be weaponized to take out enemy satellites. And, there's an interesting sort of eco angle to it as well, which is like, hey, we don't need to just build endless amounts of new satellites. We can go up, we can refuel the ones that are there, save on resources, save the planet. It was this, idea that, hey, we don't need every satellite to turn into deadly space trash every time something runs out of fuel. And so it kind of had that, but now they're just like, no, actually, it's not worth it. Just let them crash. Let the satellites go dead. I'm very curious because it just got put off by 1 year, which in NASA years is nothing. They put things off a year every year.
That's a couple hours.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but something's going on where they, just don't want these old satellites to get refueled. And I think there's some sort of messaging here to the fixing movement, the fix-it movement, where, we should be, as people, we should be able to fix things, not have to buy a new one every time something goes bad. You can keep your older appliance or something and just learn how to fix it, and you don't have to rely on buying an entirely new sort of corporate machine every time some little thing goes wrong. And this is kind of in that homesteader milieu. It's kind of in the,
Yeah, that's an interesting angle. It does say here that the space industry as a whole was pivoting towards satellites already built with refueling capabilities, doing away with the need for such a device, NASA said. So,
yes.
Yeah. With fears of the project might become obsolete, the administration said it was met with the, quote, lack of a committed partner. Nobody wanted to partner with the arm.
I'll partner with you. I'll partner with you.
It's a $316 million. Oh, it's a robot arm, and the contract's worth $316 million. That, However, an audit report in October 2023 slammed the contractor, saying its quote unquote poor performance meant NASA had to provide unplanned manpower and engineering support to help it deliver. So. Because they had to spend more money with the people to do all the maintenance on the robot arm. So, unless you come up with the robot arm company that fixes the robot arms in space, that's the move. Somebody should have done that, but maybe not enough time.
Yeah.
Did I lose you?
So, anyways, there you go. There, we just had that art from Pizza Rat about the arm wrestling robot arms in space. Flippy in space has been a recurring character here on the Flippy update, but unfortunately, this Flippy will never see space, and it's very sad. Shed a tear.
That's what they want us to think. I don't know. Maybe it's going into some covert activity.
I wonder what they're going to do. Maybe they'll sell it. Maybe they'll put it on the market for somebody looking for a spacefaring robot arm on the cheap.
It's going to end up in Antarctica. Some Antarctic science station, maybe Maybe China will buy it, or like Turkey or something.
We will all end up in Antarctica, Gons. That's what they're not telling us.
They're going to spin the plate, and we're all going to fly to the edge.
So that's your Flippy update for the day. Gons, I noticed you're still keeping your digital background on, and I'm wondering if that's going to affect things.
Oh, you want me to turn it off?
I am getting a little bit of lag from you.
Okay, let's see here. How do I do this?
And yeah, if I have to be in front of a green screen, you got to be in front of a green screen. You don't get your cool space apartment. And I'm just sitting here like a rube with my green screen blaring in the background.
There we go. Yeah, we're both in a sea of green glass.
This is very
like the throne of God.
It's very what's the word? It's kind of got that like Gen Z feel, you know, how Gen Z, even more than millennials ever did or ever will, are sort of the trend is to go towards non-production, like you know, they don't take
low production quality type of stuff.
Yeah, they don't take good pictures of themselves. They'll like purposely take bad pictures and post it on their whatever they're posting on nowadays, like the anti-aesthetic, I believe somebody might have called it.
Good.
That's what we're doing. We're anti-aesthetic podcasters.
Great. Let's do this little psyop thing here.
Psyops.
I don't know if you are on X, formerly known as Twitter, or not, but my timeline exploded with the story of Ryan Garcia. He's a boxer. Apparently he's pretty good. I'm not super into boxing, so I maybe heard of him, but didn't know much about him. But he was all over the timeline, and a bunch of people sharing all kinds of stuff. And so the short of it is that he claimed on a X Spaces, he was on there with Andrew Tate, who's another one of these, I don't know, populist type of guys. He's pretty controversial. He's got his, I think he's is he openly Islam? I don't know if he is, but
he's Muslim, but that's like not why people don't like him.
Yeah, that's not why people like him, right? It's sort of his, I don't know, he's got a whole persona thing going on. And he's in the ilk of the populist rise. He's like the truth teller, that kind of dude. But
he's a little bit more on the like men's rights side of things.
Rights. Yeah. It has become a big mix of sort of a rise of patriarchy and like a neo-patriarchy in response to the
return to traditionalism is a part of it.
Yeah. So he's part of that, I guess. But anyway, so Ryan Garcia is on an X Spaces with Andrew Tate, and he allegedly said, or actually I did hear it, I didn't want to necessarily play the clip, but he said that he was at Bohemian Grove, which we all know is the place up in Northern California where Alex Jones broke in a couple decades ago, took some video footage of the cremation of care ceremony where they do like a mock, quote unquote mock. Some people say it's real, but the mock's child sacrifice in front of the giant stone owl statue. And Bohemian Grove is supposed to be where the male influencers, wealthy people, politicians, they get invited to go there, and it's sort of a summer camp for the rich elite men is how people have described it. And so Ryan Garcia claims he was there, and he was tied down and was forced to witness a
child abuse.
Child abuse. Yeah, let's just leave it there. And so this obviously appeals to the waking up truther, populist, alternative media crowd, right? Who's learning more and more about these kinds of topics. So it got picked up like crazy. And in response, Ryan Garcia started tweeting out all kinds of stuff like, oh, they're trying to kill me, and I only have so many days to live, and just all kinds of wild stuff, saying that they're censoring him now and all this, madness. And then he comes out with a video of saying that it was all trolling, or actually, let me start here with TMZ, because this is TMZ.com. TMZ, this is how TMZ reported it. This is the headline here. Ryan Garcia, dad says boxing stars, okay, just bad trolling. Just bad trolling. There's nothing more to it. And it says here, Ryan Garcia's recent social media activity has fans worried of his mental well-being. But according to his dad, Henry, the boxing star is doing just fine, claiming it's all the result of some bad trolling. Garcia has seemingly been living on Instagram lately, posting over 20 times in the past week alone, with a handful so bizarre in nature, it's led many followers wondering if he's going through something behind the scenes.
So it's the crazy narrative.
It's the crazy narrative, yeah.
Coming out, he's telling people that, you know, a long-standing sort of conspiracy theory, and to a degree, not even a conspiracy theory. I mean, it's come to light and been admitted now that a lot of what was theorized to be happening at Bohemian Grove was actually, and it's disputed whether it still does or not. But of course, then you got the Alex Jones footage. You've got, you know, lots of people have put work into the Bohemian Grove sort of revealing.
Right. And then TMZ also reports that, of course, somebody asked his coach, is Ryan okay? And his coach responded, yes, Ryan is okay. Or, yeah, he's okay. He's just trolling the wrong way. And what's interesting about this TMZ article, obviously this is TMZ, so they don't mention anything about what he actually said. You know, they just say, he's kind of talking crazy. People are worried about his mental health. And you have to go to some other outlets to find at least the reporting of that. Of course, you can see all this on X. People are posting screenshots everywhere on X, but I'm taking this from clutchpoints.com, and it's, you know, a little boxing outlet here. And it says here, Ryan Garcia's disturbing social media behavior sparks KSI call to cancel Devin Haney fight. So there was a fight planned with Ryan Garcia, a guy named Devin Haney, and I think his people are saying maybe we should cancel this fight if he's not in a mental state that is appropriate to be, you know, in a boxing match. Nonetheless.
Yeah, so basically they're trying to take him out. They're trying to ruin his life for coming out and talking about that.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, and it says here, Garcia, a 25-year-old American fighter, has been making headlines with a series of unsettling posts. These include claims of a childhood trauma, alleging he was raped by a family member at age 2, along with bizarre statements about aliens and being a witness to human trafficking. And so, yes, it's a little bit more detail, and there's some screenshots here of some of his posts. The situation escalated when Garcia posted a video on Instagram and other platforms suggesting his throat had been slit. He later explained that his phone had been hacked and reassured fans of his safety. And again, there's just a lot of weird, erratic behavior happening here. And you know, I think the surface thing is like, okay, he's just another guy, young guy. He's very outspoken about his Christianity, by the way. He does publicly thank God and thank Jesus and things like that. So there's that side of it. So there is the angle of, oh, here's a boxer. He's a young man. He's violent, obviously. He's dangerous. But you know, he's discovering these wild conspiracy theories, and look how unstable he's getting. So that's definitely potentially one side of it. Or it's some crazy marketing ploy from his people, you know, like, hey, you want to get some attention on yourself and get this fight, you know, way more on the radar of normal people, start talking about this stuff, and then maybe he took it overboard. TheDailyMail.com had this headline because, let me just read it. More worrying posts from Ryan Garcia's account are shared about demons and UFOs being heavily attacked and saying, quote, before I go, I want to release everything, as some fans claim Boxer has been hacked. And it says here, let's see. Previous posts from the 25-year-old's account appeared to allege that he was, so we got that part. And he says he has photographic proof that aliens exist and that he was previously a witness to human trafficking. So it's like all the things, you know?
Yeah.
It's all it's like human trafficking, aliens, giants, you know, all this kind of stuff. And then he had a post here that they have screenshotted. Attention to those who sold their soul. Like he spells "there" wrong, which kind of drives me nuts. But
oh my gosh!
Attention to those who sold their soul. There is a way back. You can't sell your soul. Your soul belongs to God, so it wasn't yours to sell anyway. You didn't read the contract, just signed. Probably didn't care, and you know, just sort of pointing to the gospel there. The files of the UFOs are coming out for a reason. They're slowly releasing it. So Yoj are washed in a custom of aliens. So when the rapture happens, they blame it on the aliens and everyone on Earth is still confused. Stuff like that. That's like a very common rapture narrative that I've heard within the church folks,
and obviously he's crafting these posts in haste.
In haste, yeah. Like he's threatened to do so or something. So it's very strange. I am praying for the man. Hopefully he's okay, you know. Let's see. What else did he say? Demons can morph into creatures, animals, people, aliens, anything. Well, there's a lot of googly gook there, and something about reptilians. I'm sorry my tweets aren't written properly. I'm being heavily attacked. Spiritually, I'm in a battle and I'm winning. So there you go. There's just some of the strangeness about this whole character. And he's being shared all over X. There's people like Matthew Wallace on X who is like, I think he tweeted like Ryan Garcia didn't kill himself, you know, putting out that narrative ahead of time. I don't like that. I don't like the haste of the public or the populist public, you know, picking up on it and say, oh, you know, they're going to try to kill him. They're going to kill him now. They're going to kill him. And really buying into that narrative. I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable, you know, to put stuff out there like that. So, but I don't know. You think this is just an innocent man trying to speak some truth and got into some trouble maybe? And
I don't know. It could be several things. He could be Looney Tunes. It's totally possible, which I guess we should be more sensitive and not use the phrase Looney Tunes if that's the case.
Yeah.
You know, that's always possible. It's always possible that it's true and that he's experienced these things. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
He's,
well, the one thing...
He's not really naming anything that is totally sort of unheard of before.
Right. He actually even said that. I think in one of his posts, he's like, I know I'm not sharing anything new. I'm just sharing stuff that I've learned or whatever. And he actually posted, I believe he live streamed from his phone in front of the alleged statue of the owl, which as far as I'm concerned, I did a little bit of digging. It's pretty hard to get into that property, the Bohemian Grove proper, or sneak in nowadays. You know, they've really locked it down as private property. So, you know, if what he was showing is real, then he definitely got in somehow. And that's a whole nother, you know, layer of speculation as to like, wait a minute, if this place is so heavily guarded, how is he even in there? And his whole thing is, oh yeah, they let me in and then they shouldn't have because they told me everything. And now, you know, I'm speaking out and kind of blowing the whistle type of thing. So I don't know. There's all kinds of legal angles to this too. Like who knows, you know, once you start saying stuff like this, and you know, I guess, you know, he didn't mention any names, but
yeah,
it's just something to keep in mind. And I don't know, a healthy sort of approach to this, I believe, is to not buy into it entirely. And I don't know, as far as I'm concerned,
well, there's
keep your distance,
several
but
angles.
Also, yeah,
several
course,
angles
yes.
and several layers of psyop that goes along with something like this.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know nothing about this guy beforehand. It's very possible that he experienced all these things. It's very possible that he's lost control of his mind, and that happens a lot to people who go through trauma, you know, who experience those types of trauma. So it could be a mix of those. And, you know, who knows? Is he a very popular boxer? Is he very rich?
Popular. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's probably well off. He's 24-1. He's being touted as one of the better upcoming fighters. He's 25 years old.
24-1. So he's in the group, you know. Yeah, he would be, it would be sort of the time of his career where he starts getting, you know, inducted into some of the more elite groups, things like that. The timing kind of works out, and it might be a little bit of everything. I mean, it's very reminiscent of like Kanye, you know.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting because he's a fighter, and there's something about boxers and psyops. There's got to be a whole thing there. I'm sure there's a history that you can dig into with boxing in general as sort of some kind of metaphor, and psyops.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you, Sly Stallone.
Yeah, crazy. So what? This all came out today or yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah, and I had to mute some people because it was just out of control on my timeline there. So, look out for that. And
it's early on the story, so it'll be interesting. Most likely, it'll just kind of fade away, and we'll see if his career continues or not. But I think it is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The parents, the dad coming out. That's kind of a classic. Is, you know, his family coming out and being like, "Oh, he's just trolling. Don't worry," you know, something like that.
Yeah, he did post, I believe, a date. He deleted a bunch of his tweets, so there's only, you know, some handful of screenshots. something about April 12th being the day they're going to try to take him out. So you got anticipation for a date. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. So, plus Alex Jones was using this as a springboard to do a whole, like a newer report or whatever on the Bohemian Grove situation there too. So that's
right. Well, that's in one of the other angles of the psyop is like, okay, you could say this kid had some sort of MK Ultra like childhood. It could be, a sort of controlled opposition, blast the craziness into the culture again to light up the alternative media and get it back in the conversation to sort of preempt possibly another move in the UFO space or preempt, something.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on it. But I just wanted to report it because it was weird. And anytime everybody starts freaking out about one thing, you know us here. We're a couple of contrarians over here. We're weird. So we step back and raise an eyebrow.
We've never regretted being skeptical.
That's true.
Something. Yeah. We've never regretted being skeptical. We've sometimes been regretful of not being skeptical. All right, Gons. Well, should we take a look at a piece of art before we...
Oh, I thought we were going to do this COVID thing.
Do you want to do the COVID thing? I'm just looking at the time for you. I know you're...
I know, it's okay. Yeah.
All right, we'll do this real quick. This coming from the...
Where's my COVID jingle? How come it's not playing?
Where's the COVID jingle, bro?
Hold on.
Where's this?
Let's see. I got to unmute it.
Pandemic.
There it is.
COVID-19. 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 COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
Vaccine. Number one way.
Vaccine number one way. We're going to be very, very careful about what we say next because, of course, YouTube is listening. They're waiting. Yes. But, we don't do anything except for express scientific opinion or whatever.
No.
This is coming from BBC.
Facts.
UK state media, BBC.com. Man, oh man, is this a heavy website to load. The headline here is German patient vaccinated against COVID 217 times. A 62-year-old man from Germany has, against medical advice, been vaccinated 217 times against COVID, doctors report. Now, I'm not gonna read this whole thing here for you, but basically, there were some newspaper articles about this guy who had gotten vaccinated for COVID 217 times. Then this prosecutor, called him up and was like trying to figure out if he needs to get this guy for fraud or something.
Right.
Because what a strange thing to do. And it says here, evidence for 130 of the jabs was collected by public prosecutor of the city of Magdeburg, who opened an investigation with the allegation of fraud, but no criminal charges were brought, so they did not charge him. COVID vaccines cannot cause infection, but can teach the body how to fight the disease.
Oh, boy.
Okay?
Here we go.
So now here's the point. The point is, I'm just going to lay out the theory straight away. There's been the recent studies coming out all over the world in the mainstream legacy television corporate media about the new studied 100 million people about the possibility of side effects and adverse events from the COVID-19 vaccinations. And the study says that the adverse events are higher than previously thought. Much higher than they previously thought. But of course, they will still report very rare, just more than we thought.
Hey, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Finish your thought. I just thought of something here.
Right. So this is this idea, this slow disclosure of the problems that people have had with the vaccines, whether they are true or not. But this recent study has come out and really caused a wave of normies to become, more aware of the reality of the situation, thanks to this highly published, highly respected study of 100 million people in like 26 countries or whatever.
Right.
And so, the vaccination companies this is a problem. This is not good. It's really not good. Not even for just the companies, but it's also not good for the politicians. It's not good for
all those clips of the politicians saying one thing and then the science coming out. And
so it's a big problem for a lot of people who don't think that they deserve to be held accountable for mistakes that they've made in the past. And so this big thing comes out. Everybody's like, oh my gosh. Whoa, were the conspiracy theorists right? What? Oh my God, oh geez. I don't know about this. I was just doing what I was told. And this study is really spooky. And so the collection of sort of elites, whether they be politicians or corporate buzzards or whatever, they need something. They need something to say about this big study coming out. And what better than to retort with, look, don't worry, adverse events are rare. Things are rare. You should get vaccinated. Look, this German guy got vaccinated 217 times, and he's totally fine. Because indeed, that is what the article makes a real big point to say, especially in this Forbes version of the article here. Let me see if I can find the words.
The Forbes headline was man receives hundreds of COVID-19 vaccines. They went with the hundreds.
I love this. It is not known why he chose to have so many vaccines. They never give a reason for why this guy did it and potentially committed fraud in order to secure these vaccines. They don't say why. It's like, you didn't ask him? Is that not the first thing you ask the guy when you figure it out? Why on earth did you do this? Because they do make a point in both articles to say, this is not recommended. We do not recommend
don't do this.
Anybody
but also,
do this.
Look how good he's doing. He's so immune against COVID-19. Do you have any idea how immune he is now? It's amazing.
Well, exactly. So they found the guy, 217 vaccines. We contacted him and invited him to undergo various tests in Erlangen. He was very interested in doing so. Dr. Killen Schober from the Institute of Microbiology, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, hey, don't arrest this guy. Let's test him. 217 vaccines. The man gave the researchers new blood and saliva samples, as well as access to blood samples that he had been taken after he received some. But not all of his vaccines. Huh.
All right. You stole my thunder. I was going to talk about back on the BBC article here. It talks about all that stuff. And then it says, this is better. I like the BBC version because it says, the man provided fresh blood and saliva samples.
Sure.
And then it says this, the researchers also tested some frozen blood samples of his that had been stored in recent years.
Yes.
How often are people storing their blood?
So that's the thing. He was taking blood samples and storing them for this entire time. There's no answers here, and they scoot right over that detail about not only has this guy gotten 217 vaccines, allegedly, but he's also been cataloging his own blood tests over the past few years.
Yeah, that's foresight. That's not just a oopsie doodle. I believe the propaganda 217 times. There's some intention behind this.
Yeah, so this guy's doing something. This guy is up to something, or somebody is up to something through this guy, and they give absolutely no answers to it. They're just like, yeah, he didn't say why. It says here in the Forbes, the man did not report any vaccine-related side effects to the research team. Even the 217th vaccination that the man received had an effect on his immune cells, with the researchers finding that the number of antibodies against SARS-CoV-2 increased significantly as a result.
Hey.
Quote, overall, we did not find any indication for a weaker immune response, rather the contrary. So look, they are making the point for no reason. It is not brought up in the article why they are making a point to say it's not a weaker immune response. Because, of course, there's crazy conspiracy theories online that, perhaps the immune system becomes weaker with more of these shots, which they do not refer to that theory at all in these articles, but they do go to a point to say, yeah, he just keeps getting more immune, more and more immune, and no side effects. It's really incredible. Yeah. Now, obviously, here's the thing, and this is what they have taught us over the years, is that anecdote is not science. Anecdote is not science. And so we have a situation here where the mainstream is kind of like, hey, I know you're aware of the science, the big study that had 100 million people that found some things out. And look, we know you're feeling weird about that, and you're asking for politicians and elites to be called to account. I know all that science is kind of getting to your head, but look at this anecdote. 217 and he's fine. You'll be fine. You can at least get up to 217 shots and you'll be fine. It's really a great sales pitch.
Yeah. They mentioned hyper-vaccination here, which I thought was an interesting word. New word for the transhumanists and the technocrats there. Are you hyper-vaccinated? Oh, you're just vaccinated? Ugh. You lowly creature. You got to be hyper-vaccinated. Also, 217, we've been tracking the whole concept of the University of Essex, the masters in occult and magic. Mm-hmm. And, we've been speculating about and have seen these occult experts and stuff like that come out and do some kind of breakdown. And so we're just going to get ahead of it here. 217 is a big number for vaccines, but also if you break it down, you know how the numerologists like to collapse numbers. So whenever you have a number, you just add it all together. So 7 and 1, that's 8 plus 2 is 10. So there's a couple possibilities here. There's 10 as sort of the number of completion for the occultists and esoteric traditions, or if you're into Kabbalah, you got the 10 Sephirot, it's like the 10 nodes, in Kabbalistic cosmology and the tree of life and all that kind of stuff. Or if you add 1 and 0, you get 1, and 1 is obviously, 1 is 1. So it's, you got the unity and oneness type of message going on. You also have, in terms of Freemasonry, they see 1 as the beginning of the Masonic journey. You become a Mason, you become a first degree Mason. It's the initial thing. So maybe that's the signaling here. Like, hey, 217, collapse it down to 1. We are starting the new genetic revolution, and it starts with this man, this vampire man who's got 217 COVID vaccines. And he's fine. He's fine. He's hyper vaccinated. Yeah, the new Adam.
The new Adam.
The new Klaus. The
first in a new type of man.
Yeah.
I do love what they say here. Although the hundreds of vaccinations the man received appear to have no ill effects on him, the researchers stress in the paper that they do not recommend this approach. Quote, there are theoretical dangers with any medical intervention. Keep in mind the studies that have just come out and the reports that are now being spread across the mainstream. There are theoretical dangers with any medical intervention, okay? And possible side effects are known for each vaccine type. The more often you get vaccinated, the more cumulative risks pile up to experience any such side effects, said Dr. Schober. Quote, apart from that, I see no specific danger with hyper-vaccination, and based on our findings, I have no concerns about the long-term effects. There are no concerns about the long-term effects of getting 217 vaccines, people, which is why we recommend that everybody talk to their doctor about if 217 COVID vaccinations is right for you.
I want to go to his house, knock on the door, and just stare into his dark void eyes and say,
are you ready to become cyborg?
There you go.
He's there, man.
By the way,
he is transformed.
It's possible that there's a connection here. I don't know that there is, but according to some outlets here, government from the Government from a secret alternative office. The chancellery in Germany practices an emergency move. I know there's some translation stuff going on here, but I believe the German government exercised some kind of emergency thing and moved.
It was a training. It was a drill, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, drill, right? So Germany's been in the news a lot recently. With all their receiving intel from Russia. Getting all that World War III intel from Putin leaks and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they unleashed the hyper-vaxxed man, and it's the rise of the Übermensch. The long-awaited Übermensch, and the government is freaking out, and they're moving headquarters and calling it a drill because the Übermensch are coming to get them.
Yes, he's too powerful. He's become too powerful. He's been loosed on the earth. Germany, the chancellery moving their offices in an emergency drill. I don't know. Could that have anything to do with the constant stream of Russian spy leaks from their intelligence agencies? It could be. I don't know.
It could be. Maybe this vaccinated guy is a Russian. Maybe he's a Putin plant.
Would you like to? Do we have any voice messages we should play?
We played the one from Sentinel, and I believe that was it for this round.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it for today. So.
Okay, well, remember, folks, you can go to canarycrynewstalk.com. You'll see a green tab on the bottom or the right-hand side of the page, and you can click on that and leave us a voicemail message. You can just say hi. You can give shout-outs to the Canarium. You can ask questions. You can make announcements, whatever you want to do. Go there. Also, direct all of your Basil hate mail to that voicemail system so we can play it on air, and the world and God and your mother can hear all the nasty things you have to say with the voice that God gave you. That's canarycrynewstalk.com. Look for that green tab. Click it, baby. Click it.
Yep. Let's do art, and then I gotta run. So do it quickly here.
One art, please.
We start off with Sir Dove.
One art piece from Dove.
Woo. And Dove says, peace. For this week's Bible artwork, I did an illustration for Proverbs 10:10. He who winks with the eye causes grief, and foolish lips will come to ruin. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing video monkey praying for you.
He who winks with the eye causeth grief. It's kind of very fun thing here. In the background is sort of a checkerboard pattern, similar to like a Freemasonry lodge floor pattern. In blue text up and around in an arch over the main character here says, he who winks with eye causes grief.
The eye.
And in the middle here, we've got a goat, a very interesting looking goat man. He's winking one eye, of course, and those goat eyes are always very strange. I feel very uncomfortable looking into the eyes of goats. I don't know what's going on in there, but it is weird. He's got a big old smile on his face, a big, huge, toothy grin there, and he's wearing a suit, a black suit, black tie. He's wearing gloves and is tipping his very tall hat. What is that called? Top hat.
Top hat.
Which, you know this guy is up to something. He looks very suspicious.
Yeah. Always good, though. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Appreciate that one. We also have something from Sir Darren.
Night of the Hungry Panther.
In a neon-lit dystopian city, samurai bikers Basil and Gons confront mainstream media oppression. Armed only with the powers of news and analysis, they battle propaganda, race to reclaim the narrative and break the chains of media censorship. Hashtag think outside the cage.
This is very cool. This is a great... I think the next T-shirt council vote is a Sir Darren vote, I believe. So this will definitely be on the list of T-shirts. It is a bright yellow background motif, and it's very manga-y. It looks like the cover of a manga. Am I correct in
That's
this
right.
assessment? Yes.
Yeah.
It's like as if there was a Canary Cry News Talk manga where we were samurai motorcyclists fighting on the streets of Neo-Tokyo. We've got some Japanese writing, which, if we are to believe the translation, says "think outside the cage," going vertically on the left-hand side. Down at the bottom, you got Canary Cry News Talk, canarycry.party, designed by the producers of CCNT. Very cool design. And then up at the top, we've got Gons, motorcycle samurai Gons, with his lion
helmet.
themed
I love it.
helmet.
It's very
Yeah,
cool.
very, very sort of
I want
regal looking.
Yeah.
Lion-themed motorcycle helmet. We can see through your glasses there. We got one eye. Ooh, mysterious, very manga-y. And then right below you, we've got Samurai Basil motorcycle guy, who is on a very cool-looking yellow, I don't know, fast-looking motorcycle, which has like a bit of a, canary motif to it. My motorcycle helmet does have googly eyes, of course, on the outside, but is sort of in the shape of a bird head. Very cool. And I just look awesome. I'm very excited about this. It makes me feel good about my choices in life that this now exists. And this will definitely be on the menu for next Canary Cry Canary Cry T-shirt council. So if you want a chance to get this on a T-shirt, go to canarycrytshirtcouncil.com. The voting will begin soon, I believe, for the first quarter T-shirt council of 2024.
Right.
So go do it, and you can support the show too. It's very important that you do that. canarycrytshirtcouncil.com. Thank you very much, Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda.
We might have to do the microfictions on Monday.
Okay.
But yeah, go to canarycry.art. Actually, let me make sure to go there. If you want to give us or provide some art for the show, and there's a little portal at canarycry.art where you can submit, audio files, video files, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to go to canarycry.report, you can send us some articles for consideration. So thank you for the people who are doing that.
Do it. Do it. All right.
That's it.
Yeah, no worries. We will catch up on microfictions on Monday. Folks, tune in on Friday if you want to get a sneak peek into the Age of Deceit 4 process, into the Age of Deceit 4 focus group. We hope that it inspires people, not just to support us and stuff like that, but also we wait our whole lives for opportunities to get involved with something that we really care about and that we have special insight into, and that we might be able to play a role in making something better. And the Age of Deceit focus group is that opportunity. I think it is for me. I think it is for a lot of people, especially those who have been with us for many years. This will be a very meaningful opportunity to use your brain and your spirit and your knowledge and your wisdom and your years of paying attention to help perfect something that's going to go out into the world. Of course, you'll be credited at the end, and indeed, you will be helping this show reclaim its streaming sovereignty, which is not guaranteed at this moment. So go to canarycry.tube to support via PayPal, or go to canarycry.support. Canarycry.support, our usual support link. There's now a big blue box up at the top that you can join in and get in on the group there as well. And of course, thank you to all of our producers. No matter how you produce this show with your time, your talent, or your treasure, it means the world to us. It's the only reason that we are where we are and where we're able to stay alive. And of course, the incredible culture of the show being, of course, created by the producers. And I want to thank just a couple more producers, starting with the Timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Yep, the Timestampers are really true soldiers of the Canarium who do timestamps for the show. Oftentimes they're doing them live, but they are doing them immediately either way, and it goes into so much of what makes this show available for other people. The unsung heroes, and we thank them very much. Who did the timestamps for last episode, Gons?
Morgan E.,
the champion.
720.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Morgan E. Thank you to Jam for links. Thank you to everybody who sent us articles to take a look at. Thank you to Clank for clanking. And other than that, folks, share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with every German you know. The Germans, they're having a little bit of trouble. We have some Berliners catching the show live right now. And I just want to reach out. And Germans, if you need any help, any spiritual advice, any emotional support, reach out to a German and let them know that they are still valuable and that their intelligence agencies are not entirely a joke to everyone around the world. Germans, you play a part. I'm not exactly sure what part that is supposed to be, but the Lord still loves you. So yeah, just do that. Just reach out and let a German know that the show is here for them. We need to, let's bump up those numbers in Germany. And if I knew anything funny to say that Germans would appreciate, I would say it now, but I don't. And so I look forward to a cultural exchange with our new German listeners as they cope with the things happening in their country. Canary Cry Newstalk.com.
Okay. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Past 2 p.m.
He's gotta go. So share the show. We call it rattling cages. All you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. Gonz, any last words?
To the Germans, Denke Alber Halb des Kalfigs.
Touching.
Think outside the cage in German, apparently.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Relevant. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.